Hello and welcome to today's embodiment practice. We're working with the element of water, and the mantra you see here, Vang, is the bija mantra for the element of water. And so today, as we feel into this experience in our bodies, I'm going to invite you with lots of different just prompts and different ways to bring you deeper in. And that's all that these prompts are. You know, water is just one pathway. Today you might feel very connected to the water, due to how I talk about it and the music and stuff, but you might not feel connected to the water. And so I'm just reminding you that the important part is to go deep inside and to feel what's happening inside for you. And if it's not watery, that's totally fine. It's not that you're doing anything wrong or that you're not getting it. It's just one pathway to go inside and feel. And so let's just get started. We're going to begin with the playlist. I've dropped the playlist in the chat. It is also below the video for those of you watching the video, and the playlist is not required. If you prefer to practice in silence, that's totally fine, but I have curated the playlist for to kind of go along with what we're doing. So, all right, so get your playlist ready. I'm going to count down and then we'll hit play together. All right. 3, 2, 1, play. And it begins with silence. So if you don't hear anything, that is correct. And we're going to begin with a little bit of meditation and then the mantra. So just first a few breaths, settling in. Find a comfortable way to be. Turn your attention to your breath and your body. And this mantra, the bija mantra for water, jala, is vam. And it can be pronounced either vam, by closing the lips with an M, or vang, which is pronounced like V-A-N-G or V-U-N-G. Vang. Either way is totally fine. Just feel which resonates more for you, which feels better. And I will chant the mantra with you for several rounds, and then I will go into chanting internally so that you can chant at your own pace and really focus on your own vibration, your own resonance. Vang, 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 vang. And just continue on your own. Feel free to experiment with different tones and different vibrations. And then just maybe 3 or 4 more repetitions of the mantra. And as you allow that to come to completion, take a moment to sit in the stillness, in the silence, to feel the vibration that continues even after the audible mantra is gone. And then you can make your way to your practice space, to your mat. And this next song is for you to tune into your own body, your own being. So I'm not going to instruct you in specific movements or poses for this song. You're just feeling for what would you do right now if you were totally free. What would be the best thing for you to bring you into your embodiment, to prepare you to practice for the next 50 minutes or so? It could be just some breathing, it could be some stretches, it could be shaking and stomping. Just listen inside. And this is also a practice. If you're not used to doing this, then you might just experiment. Just try different things. See what feels good. Allow your jaw to relax. And maybe invite whatever's inside of you to speak through the language of the body, which is movement, sound. Let yourself be inspired by the music, but also not bound by it. Right? You don't have to obey the music or stay in the pace or vibe of the music, but let it in. Last little bit here. Maybe moving someplace in your body that feels more difficult to feel, or maybe so it feels numb, or just in less touch with that part. See if you can move it, breathe into it. Good, okay. So now we're coming into a somatization of feeling the element of water in your body. So you can be in any position. You can be standing, you could be hands and knees, you could be laying down, you could be seated. Does not matter. And I want you right now to just allow your eyes to close and see if you can tune into the flow of blood in your body. And this could be in your imagination. It could be that you actually feel it, that you touch your pulse somewhere on your body. And your pulse may not feel fluid or what your idea of fluid is. But see if you can let go of any ideas of what fluidity or water, the water element, see if you can let go of your ideas of those things and tune into your actual sensation. The wateriness, the fluidity of the body. And maybe your body starts to move in some way. Let it move. And just listening, inviting the elemental water that is you to speak, to communicate through you, as you. And that's basically the whole of this practice. To allow the element of water that is you to communicate through you and as you. And we'll have lots of prompts and poses and movements, but it's all coming back to that. And I said to let go of your ideas. And in that, I meant to allow yourself to be surprised, to not be confined by your ideas of water. But you can be inspired by them, right? You can think of the ocean right now and what the ocean feels like, or a lake or a river, whatever you've been in, what that natural water feels like, that natural body of water, and see if you can connect to any feeling like that inside your body right now. And how would that move? This is not something you have to create or force. So if there's any tension around this, just see if you can let that dissolve and just move with what's arising. How does the ocean move through your veins? And how about the fluid between your cells, the interstitial fluids that permeate the whole body? It's like the inner ocean in which all the cells are suspended. And just, if you're not moving yet, allow your limbs to start to move in any way. As if they could communicate that inner ocean, that inner fluidity, expressing that through your fingers, through your hands. Maybe through your spine. Through your hips. Your legs, your feet. Acknowledging the water that your body is made of. Honoring it. This whole practice is devoted to it. Mother of the water. So we're shifting now to some sun salutations. You can find your way to the front of the mat, but always stay with what you are doing. If you're in something that feels very rich, just stay with what feels the best to you. Otherwise, you're coming to the front of the mat and just standing and feeling. If you know a good sun salutation for yourself, then please just begin it. We can even call it a water salutation today, bowing to the water. And if you don't know any sun salutation, you can just follow me. But let each movement, as you reach your arms up to the sky, be water moving you. So that it's not your mind initiating the movement. Exhaling down into a forward bend. But it's the water leading you. And if you're doing your own sun salutation, you're just at your own pace. You follow your own inner teacher, your own inner rhythm. How does the water move you in forward bend, if you're with me? And drawing your feet back into a plank. How can your plank embody the fluidity? And so there's lots of ways I could tell you to do plank that might feel fluid to you. But this is not the practice. The practice is tuning into the energy inside your own body, not copying someone else. Coming down all the way to the ground. And then cobra. Inviting cobra in as fluid would embody this. And then like a wave, back to downward dog. Water in the shape of a downward dog. Does the water move through your body like a wave? Does it settle in stillness? What does your breath do to it? And maybe to a forward bend, walking the feet to the front of the mat. And rising up like the crest of a wave, all the way to standing, arms reaching up. Back down into a forward bend. And so let's step the right foot back to a lunge, a high lunge with the back knee lifted. You can meet me here eventually if you're doing your own sun salutation. Right foot back, right hand down. So we have like a twisting lunge and explore it. It can include stillness. You might explore through holding the pose still. You might explore by moving through all of the possibilities here. Eventually we'll go to the other side, and you do that in your own time. If you're ready now, you step forward, maybe a moment in forward bend, or you can take longer on that first side. And then the left foot steps back, left hand on the mat. See if you can send your awareness, your consciousness to the deepest place you know in your body. And let the movement come from there. Maybe it's that fluid space between the cells. Maybe it's even deeper than that. And you don't have to be bound by this pose either. If something else starts to happen, let it. Just notice if you have your own set of rules that winds up boxing you in. And just eventually coming back to standing. And allow yourself to have just a brief stillness. Before we go to the next thing, feeling, sensing, allowing. We're going to start to undulate the spine here. So it can just be subtle at first, bending the knees a little bit, rounding the spine, and then lifting the chest up. It's just almost like a seagrass in the ocean or something. I'm just imagining the way water has flown, streamed down the canyons that have carved out those rocks. Flowed. How water has flowed. And just letting your body flow like that. Letting the movement of your body carve out your awareness. And this can start to bring you into a forward bend whenever it does. Maybe it already has. And now letting the movement be very big. So from the forward bend, rounding, curling, rising up, even the arms, all the way up, and then back down. We're not trying to increase flexibility or mobility or anything like that. This is a stretch for your consciousness. To be embodied throughout your entire physical, supposedly physical form here. Maybe you can feel it outside of your body image as well. And let this movement start to change in any way that it naturally begins to evolve. How does your body move to accommodate this flow, this carving? Your body is shaped by the awareness. So maybe it's actually the opposite of what I said, right? It's the awareness that flows and carves out the body. That seems more right. And so you're in this, you're doing exactly whatever arises, you're following that. You can be stepping, moving off of the mat, around, or you might just be allowing any poses that your consciousness wants to carve into your body. And just staying always at the leading edge. Your mind can come in with ideas of what it thinks your body should do, and just let those flow through just as easily. They flow through and out. moving in total freedom, moving in total freedom. We're making our way down to hands and knees. And I'm always ahead of you. You just come along when it feels like the right moment. And so we just come back to a container from total freedom now into cat's breath. And so we see if we can allow that same total freedom of awareness, the fluidity, to be here, even when we're following an instruction, a specific linear rounding the spine as we exhale, inhaling, stretching the front of the body. And just what happens to that fluidity, to that freedom? Can it be here? Can you feel it a little bit? Can you feel it a lot? And maybe you like to stay with the familiar movements, the linear movements. You can stay with cat's breath. You can also come back to child's pose and alternate that with cobra. And maybe already your fluid awareness has just led you into a undulation, carving out the body into a shape that matches your mental, emotional, consciousness experience. And then we're landing on the back next. So whenever you're ready, finding your way down. Maybe hug the knees, rock a little bit. And then allow the legs to extend up. And just move the ankles around, the toes. And just allow your legs to start to explore in this space where, this position where they can feel a little bit more fluidity. When we're standing on them, there's so much more of our foundation, our stable, solid foundation. So here, letting them express. And if you want, you can begin some abdominal activation here, because water is also extremely powerful. It's not just fluid, loosey-goosey, everything's very easy and gentle. Water is very powerful. It is a force. It is a huge force of nature that can destroy. And so if you want to go into some of that fire, just extending one leg, you could extend both legs towards the ground. Maybe hands on the belly to feel that activation. You could interlace the hands behind the head, lift up a little bit. Straddle the legs. Draw the heels together and then send them out. So this could be almost like a swimming stroke with the legs. Like a frog. Bringing the heels together, legs straight, bend the knees, heels come down towards the hips, and then extend the legs out into a straddle. Just maybe doing something that is activating, where you can feel the strength, the power, and at the same time, the fluidity. Just finally releasing down whenever you're ready. Putting the legs in any position that you like. Maybe you take a little twist after that, or hugging the knees again. And then we're going to take a few moments just to be here. This is not Shavasana yet. So you could be seated, you could be laying down. And there could even be some movement. This isn't a meditation per se. We're not trying to hold anything still, but it's more being with that fluid nature. Being as opposed to doing. If maybe what we've been doing through the practice is a lot of doing, now we're just settling back, maybe to receive the fluid nature, to be in our fluid nature. Maybe you're resting inside that interstitial fluid between the cells. And so from that place of stillness, from that place of origin. Let your movement now be fresh, new. We're going to do a couple last poses. Could be forward bend. And if anything else is calling to you, if your body just knows exactly what it needs for the end of our practice here, then do that. If forward bend feels like the right next thing for you, then extend the legs out in front of you and just start by exploring your range. I don't even know if I want to call it your range, but just going in and out a little bit. It doesn't have to be to the furthest point. Maybe touching your legs. You can always bend your knees. You don't have to reach your feet, but maybe you do. And then we're going to start that undulation again. Lifting the chest up. Almost, you might feel a little back bend. And then round the spine and come forward. Let the head go all the way, the chin down to the chest, and then roll back up. And you can let your hands follow to support you. The hands come behind. Lift the chest up high. And then fold back down. Good. And just let it flow. How do you want to modify this, change it for yourself? If you're very flexible, this might feel super amazing. And if you're not, like for me, this feels kind of blocky. I don't really feel that delicious in it. But this is part of the practice, right? Is bringing the fluidity, bringing the element, whatever we're working with, to exactly what's arising. Can I invite grace and ease, even when that's not my initial experience? And without avoiding those places, without saying, I'm just not going to do that one. I feel limited there. I feel restricted. I'm just skipping that one. No. You go right into it. You go right into the stuckness, the muck. Can I be free even here? Now, don't misunderstand me. I'm not talking about pain. I'm not saying, oh, if it hurts, just go do it anyway. Not that. If you can avoid pain, then do it. But there's plenty of pain that we can't avoid. And that's what this practice is for. Learning how to relax and flow in the pain that we cannot avoid. Any other pose your body wants to go into? This is the last little bit here. Anything that's really being called for? And then we're shifting to Shavasana now. I have some sounds of natural water to wash over us. You can always sit in meditation if that's what feels useful, or just rest in any position. Now we let go of doing, we even let go of being, in any sense that it's an idea or something that's trying any effort. We let go of all effort. So you can, of course, stay in your rest as long as you like. If you'd like to close the practice now, explore your body with movements, with breath. And just gently and slowly making your way up to seated. And take a moment here to just feel the result or the culmination of your entire practice right now in your body and your being. Honoring the water inside you and in the earth. I thank you for your practice today. Namaste.